So, Patreon and my opinion of it. I think everyone who uses YouTube regularly will have noticed more than a few channels asking people to support them via Patreon. There have been some interesting opinions expressed, both for and against channels funding themselves via Patreon. The Peach and Healthy Addict have had an interesting back and forth on the subject, which I think covers a lot of the relevant points. Patreon, according to the website's About section, was, quote, founded in May 2013 and based in San Francisco, California. Patreon was created to enable fans to support and engage with the artists and creators they love, empowering a new generation of creators. Patreon is bringing patronage back to the 21st century. Okay. It's certainly very encouraging to know that ordinary people out there are willing to give patronage to artists they like. In this day and age where people will happily illegally download entire discographies of bands without so much as a pang of guilt, I had come to the somewhat desolate conclusion that the general public were taking the creative arts for granted, that they didn't seem to appreciate the hard work people put into creating art. It's summed up aptly by the meme. It's a meme that goes around that says, "I am an artist. This does not mean I will work for free. I have bills just like you." Totally. This brings me to an important point, though, and that is a lot of what we see on YouTube isn't art. Now, I know art is subjective, and I don't wish to sound snobby, but if I pointed to a wall with a picture hung on it and I asked you, what do you think of the art, I expect you'd probably give me your opinion of the picture, not the wall, indicating that while the line between what is and is not art may be a bit blurry, that doesn't mean it's non-existent. Thunderfoot splicing bits of TV shows and stock images from the internet together does not qualify as art, in my opinion. Not least because he didn't create these clips and images, and because he isn't doing anything creative with them. And if you think I'm just saying that because I don't like him, I'm not. There are a number of channels I very much enjoy who also do this. While I totally take Healthy Addict's point that regular YouTube videos take a lot longer to make than most people realise, what with the editing and the converting and the uploading and the scripting, or at least thinking beforehand what you're going to say if you don't use a script, we have to compare that to the amount of time artists spend drawing, painting, animating, working on graphics, or composing, recording and mixing music, and so on. Making a short artistic video can take days, weeks or months, and often requires more equipment and resources than the average YouTube uses. Aaron Ra has recently uploaded his Patreon pitch. Now, I enjoy Aaron's content. I find his anti-creationism stuff preferable to Thunderfoot's, largely because it isn't intermingled with YouTube drama, so it doesn't require knowledge of the history of YouTube ponage in order to be understood. I think if education channels are receiving patronage, they should try and avoid simply using stock images and TV clips in their videos and try and incorporate some original graphics and animations. Channels like Theremin Trees and Qualia Soup set a good standard, in my opinion, for what education channels should look like. Their videos are the sort of quality I'd expect if I were purchasing an educational DVD or something like that. So in brief, if YouTube channels are going to use crowdfunding platforms for artists, I'd like to see their content become a bit more artistic, not just be the same as it was before, but for money. That said, it is of course up to individuals how they spend their money, and so long as people don't make promises they don't deliver, TJ, cough, I don't see Patreon as a huge problem. Personally, I don't think my channel is really big enough for it to be practical for me to set up a Patreon. I'm not saying I'll never use it, but right now it just doesn't seem like a good idea. However, I am going to be pushing my Bandcamp a lot more on this channel, as the music I use on my channel is my own compositions, and a few people have bought albums off me recently, which has really helped me out. So yes, thanks for watching, everyone. Let me know what you think.